Welcome back to Coffee and Chaos. Today, we have Tom. You guys remember him from another one. My sister Angel, and of course, Solomon. I brought everybody Starbucks today.
Yes, she did.
Thank
Thank you.
I brought you one.
Yeah.
You were with me.
Yeah, I know.
I ordered my this normal little boring Starbucks, but these two over here, you guys had some like double macchiatos, extra shots of this, oat milk, that. Like, I don't even know all that stuff.
Well, since I don't sniff meth anymore. No.
And you can't even finish your coffee because you will be all over the place. And you guzzled yours.
Yeah.
Solomon, what did you get?
I got one actually before I came in because I was running late and I was like, I need some caffeine. So I knew you were going to have something for me coming in, but I got something ahead of time anyway. And so now I'm drinking that. What is it? A strawberry thingy?
Yeah, your strawberry
let's see.
acai.
Like a-
lemonade.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go.
It's perfect
A
and
good
it looks
summer
wonderful. And I'll
good
eat all the
summer
strawberries when I'm done.
Well, this is my second coffee for the day. So we're all going to be a little like on fire today.
No, you're always on
That's
fire.
right.
I am.
Right.
And today I'm going to be so quiet. We're going to have a good discussion. You two are going to do most of the talking.
Uh-oh.
So, ready for my question?
We are. Let's go.
Have women ruined men? And where are all the good men at? And I know that we're going to have an opinion. Not we. I guess I meant we as in women. But your opinion's different than mine.
Yeah.
And yours is definitely different than mine. Because I feel like you are an actual man. I don't want to offend other people, but you are what's missing in the world. Like, if I had to define a man, you are that. You have your flaws, you've made some mistakes, but there's not enough of you in the world. So have we ruined you guys?
I wouldn't put that off on women ruining us. I think men have a lot to do with ruining us. So if a man is allowing himself to be manipulated and put into that situation and not standing up what he believes is right or how he wants to lead or how he wants to, and he allows himself to be pushed in that direction, sometimes.
What about the women today that say, I don't need no man, like I don't need you for anything? Like, how do you
full
feel
of
about
shit.
Okay.
Because we all need somebody. If you went back and in the Bible, right? And if you went to the Bible and said, what does it say? Why did God create Eve?
Because he was lonely, he needed somebody.
Because he saw that it wasn't good to be alone.
Yeah.
And he saw that it was good to have a helper. So that goes both ways for a man and woman. Now, we could survive without a man or a woman, but is that an ideal picture?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
And what do you have we as women, and I don't mean like just as general as a whole, as we raise our boys, as we date, whatever, have we ruined men?
Well, I am not a fan of women at all. I think women are retarded for the most part. So, what was your question?
Have we ruined men, and where have all the men gone?
So I think women have, I think they ruin themselves. So I'm a big fan of clean up your own backyard. So women, yeah, like they're not a lot of good women. Like your guys' worth is pretty much not worth anything. And so you got all these broken women. You got a gang of broken women. And these broken women are raising sons. And most of them are raising sons by themselves for whatever situation. I got kids. I got 2 sons. I'm raising them to be men. The best I can be. The best I can do to raise a man because I'm not a fucking man.
But let's clarify why you're raising the boys by yourself.
Oh, well, because their dad died.
Okay.
But it
So
doesn't,
just-
I don't think, okay, well, he's dead.
He's not here to help,
Okay,
is
he's
what I'm
not
saying.
here. So
yeah.
I have to raise my sons as men. I'm not a man. Now, I'm definitely an alpha woman. I definitely am a strong woman, but I'm still not a man.
Yeah.
I still know what my role is. I still cannot show him everything that a man can do. Like that's just like, so you got a lot of these bitter women or these helicopter women or these cuddler women, and then that's all the man is knowing. This boy is knowing all of this nonsense. I mean, I guess it's not nonsense because that's what women are supposed to bring to the table, but they don't have another man around to show them the other part, what they need to be as men. And men are supposed to be like protectors, providers, supposed to lead the way. Doesn't mean I can't lead as well. It just means I know that that's what you should be doing. I want my sons, I'm very big about, I want my sons to be good men.
Yeah.
I don't want a piece of shit man.
You don't want a lazy man.
Yeah, I don't want a lazy man. I don't want a worthless man. I don't want a weak man. I don't even like weak people. I don't like weak friends. I don't like anything that's weak.
Where did you get that? Like, who in your life touched you, though, that's how you feel? Like, somewhere there had to be a man that you feel, that you saw, that taught you all this, or just made you feel this way. You didn't just grow up and say, I feel like this because of this. Like,
You had an
there
example.
there had to be somebody in your life.
So
That-
I think everybody needs. Okay, so my answer to the question, I have a dad. I am very lucky that I have a dad. So I seen that my dad was a leader. I also had a mother, which apparently wasn't a good one. Like, so I seen what she lacked as a woman, like, and I seen what my father brought to the table as a man. Like, I've said it more than once, come from the ghetto, come from nothing. We were very young running those streets. And yet, even though my homeboys were probably looked at as boys, they were moving as men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, and they stood by everything. My generation, I can't speak up for the generation.
I think
to
today's
come.
generation today is
Yeah.
horrible.
So it's so because I come from that generation, like I seen those men calls and how they ran things and everything else about them.
yeah.
Like, so I think I was very lucky to have different type of, so I sort that out. Like, I will not talk to a man that I feel is a weak man either. Sorry, buddy, not to hurt your
How could
feelings.
you be a leader?
Yeah,
Who's that?
like I get, like, how can I know you have my back? It obviously looks at 300 pounds, you ain't having your own back. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? Hey,
But
I'm
do you think
sure
it's-
you're a cuddler somewhere else.
Growing up, because dad was always like there. Like, for me, we have a different version of your father, right?
Yeah.
He's my father too. He raised me. He's not my biological father, but I consider him my father. We saw a different version. I needed things fixed. Dad fixed it, right?
Yeah.
I needed anything. Like, can you watch my daughter for an hour? Can you do this? He was harder on you. He embedded something different in you than he did on me. Like I said earlier, for some reason, he treated me like a flower. And so, we can't hurt Alina. We got to make sure she's
Soft.
always
He was
okay.
always
Yes.
soft on you.
But the way he was with you was like, you got to make sure you could do this and make sure you do this and make sure you do that. And I saw a different version of him and how he treated
Well, that's
you.
because, everybody's different and people can take it. I have multiple sons, and so I can't treat them all the same. They're every single day. I could be harsh on this one and he can take it and strive and it's great. And the other one, he just clams up because he, feels bad or whatever because I'm harsh on him, right? So, that had
But he
probably
would,
sure a lot
yeah.
to do with it. Like,
Go ahead.
you were that flower
Yeah.
type and
Yeah.
she was softer and and then she could just withstand it and she was rough and tough and could take it. And so, hey,
Like,
you're
he
gonna
would call
little-
her and be like, I'm over here in this situation, and she's there helping him, whatever the situation was, good or bad, fighting or not.
Right.
But for me, I'll always remember when I was in my apartment and I ran in real quick to grab something. My car door was open, and this older gentleman, kind of a veterano guy, like, walked in. I could tell he's on drugs. And for the first time in my life, I was scared. I had never been scared. I walked around Pedro like fearless.
Right.
And I literally was like, I'm about to get raped. Like, oh my God. And he's walking towards me. For some reason, her dad walks in and knows the guy and just goes off. And the second I saw him, I was like, I'm golden. Like, I'm like, this man is going
Right.
to save me.
Right.
So my dad was like, how the fuck you know her? Why are you in my daughter's house? And that guy got scared. No, Kiko, I just thought da-da-da. And so my dad dragged him out of the house. But for me, that was a sense of, I always need that. I need to feel safe when
But
I'm with a man.
women now are gravitating to weak men. So,
No.
well, no, listen.
No, I'm saying I agree with you, but I'm saying I don't like that. Like, I don't want a weak man. Like, I want a man who's going to be able to protect me.
But you come from a different generation, so
we're a little bit more old school. We're kind of
Yeah,
the
like,
same generation.
wow.
So I asked my homegirl, right? I asked my homegirl the other day, right? And about it, right? Like, hey, do you think you like the question, right? Women, do you think we're breaking it down like men? Like, she was like, oh no, like I think no, we don't do that, you know? Like, and I was like, fool.
We
Like,
break men down.
yeah, like so, and she was like, I didn't like I ain't talking about that after the fact that he learned to survive after you, bitch. I'm talking about like, were you a good woman? Like, and then she was like, no. Like she thought about it, right?
Yeah.
So I think, what I thought afterwards that was interesting is that just like men are boys and they grow into men, right? So are
Supposed
girls.
to grow into men.
Yeah, like well, so
Some
are
of them
girls.
are still boys at
Yeah.
50 years old.
So there's girls
They are.
that ain't as women yet. So
Yeah.
those
Right.
girls
Yeah.
that are out there who don't know what they were, shaking their ass and doing what they do, go ahead. But that's all you're worth, girl. Like, and then one day you're gonna have a daughter, and I want you to tell your daughter shaking her ass and getting paid for that person, whatever, and she thought she was pimping that fool, was worth giving up her pussy.
That's
Whoa.
yeah. But it's true. Like, if you look at girls today, it's look at our generation. It's so we were fighting to survive. We were fighting to pay bills to raise our kids.
Women though, so they gravitate. We talked about this before. They gravitate to weaker men because if the man is weak, then they can manipulate the guy and control the situation more, and they also don't have to be held. They're not going to be held accountable because a strong man will put boundaries and hold them accountable and expect certain things out of them. And sometimes they don't want to rise to that occasion. They rather have this weak guy and just kind of control the situation. And then you wonder why when they're with this weak guy for a year, he's boring. He's this, he can't perform both. You know, we have this conversation, like my sons and I with this conversation. It's like, you know, some men can turn a switch, right? Some men can be soft and gentle with their grandbabies, with whoever's around them. But then also, if you come in to hurt those grandbabies, guess what? That guy's going to turn into a monster.
But
right?
I feel like those men are gone.
And yes, and then there's the men that they don't even have the switch no more.
No.
You know, I was asking my son, I go, son, he's 26 years old. He has 2 jobs. I said, son, let me ask you a question. How many out of both jobs you work at, how many guys know how to change a garbage disposal? How many guys know how to change a toilet out or change a tire? I go, would you say like 50%? He goes, heck no, Dad. He goes, like maybe me and one other guy.
Yeah.
And that's it. And like, wow, they're not even being taught any of that stuff. But
You asked me on the phone when we were talking, well, you don't need a guy. You make it very clear. And I was like, wait, Tom, I've never said I didn't need a guy. You said, well, no, you're independent. You have your house. You have your kids. I said, but what does that mean? I don't need a guy. Who said I didn't need a guy?
well, because
But I gave you the answer. Because
Go
you're
ahead.
like, okay, well, what do you need him for? And when I started listing off all the things that I needed him for, you were like, oh, I said, I need someone to come clean out my gutters, fix my car, put the gas in, take the trash out, the freaking big ass bugs, cockroach, water bug
Right.
that was in the room. I don't want to kill it. Like
Right.
all these things that
I think that's terrible. It
is-
sounds like you want to use somebody.
No,
Sounds like she needs a
That
handyman.
sounds terrible.
no, but what
No,
did I
I don't
tell
think
you?
it sounds
But
terrible.
what did I
Yes, it
tell
does.
you?
I don't.
It sounds terrible.
No,
Like,
because
no.
what was? But what did you say?
You're just using like,
No.
oh, I'm just
Be-
telling you, hey, you guys.
Because he said,
Okay,
because
so I'm
we
not-
had
Wait a
already
minute.
said what I had to offer. He said, well, what do you offer? I said, oh, I don't care that I work all day. When you come home, dinner will be right there. Your clothes will be washed. Your sheets
it's just
will be
an
washed.
old school mentality.
Yes,
I think
like-
in the roles, like when it worked like that, it just seemed to work. Like for the men today, you
No,
open up the door, you treat her like a lady. All that
get
stuff
what
is
she's
gone.
Trying to say, I get what she's trying to say.
Right.
But
It's just coming out.
Yeah, like I get what she's trying to. The deeperness of is I need a companion.
Yes.
I need a teammate.
It's not just
I
yes,
am
a
not
teammate,
alone.
totally.
But
Yes.
if you say, "Oh, I
Yeah.
need you, Tom, to fix my fucking tire," like, bitch.
But you don't love me at
No,
all.
you
you just want me to fix the tire.
You don't know what the fuck you called me for? Like,
Oh, shit,
But we
that's
talked-
all I'm worth.
Hold on. We talked about that too. You said these women will have these men's waiting, like they won't call you, they won't invite you somewhere, but as soon as they need something, what did
Yeah,
you
well, what happens is a lot of women, right, today, you see it. Like, they got all these boundaries, all these walls put up because a lot of them maybe have kids and they're like, look, I have my career going on. I got my kids this days. I'm not available to you. I can't go out, but maybe next week we can go. So they got all that. But the minute their car won't start, all of a sudden, hey, can you come and help? The minute that the
And this is
garbage
where I don't agree
disposal,
with Tom. See, so I never agree with anybody, right? I don't agree with. I said this to Tom. I said, who are these women? Because the women who are independent, like I'm an independent bitch, right? So then let's
I hate that you call yourself a bitch
whatever,
all the
and you my
time.
side piece, right? You're this guy that I like, whatever, right? Let's just say, right? I'm independent fool. I don't need you to do that. You doing one job and one job only because I know somebody who I could pay.
Or you
Because
call dad.
I'm just saying, like I'm an independent, so like I don't know who those women are that Tom says that.
There are
like,
women like that.
I'm not
Plenty
saying,
of them.
There's,
but
I
mean,
have a
like,
lot of friends.
You're
that do
supposed
that.
to like. Either way, men need women. Women need men.
Right.
We weren't made to be alone. What women, I think, is hilarious is that they're, oh, I don't need a man. I'm so independent. Oh my God, I'm so great. I'm a boss bitch. Okay, you're a boss of. I don't know what you think you're a boss of, but the world goes around full circle. So you have sons. You
Yeah.
have a father. You have and guess what? Those are men too.
Yep.
Those are fucking men. And so
100%.
all as much as that we don't need men, no, because you came from somewhere. And you will have sons. Now you have had bad men obviously in your life, which you still don't want to take accountability for yourself. Because it takes two.
Yeah.
It takes you as a garbage ass woman, either you put up with it or you didn't leave on time or whatever you were bringing to the table. I don't know what your situation is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I really don't know. But like, yes, women, you need men.
My
Like,
biggest thing is I hate when I hear, because I've always argued this and you know this, when a woman says, oh, he doesn't need his daddy. I got him. I'm like, oh, no,
bullshit.
no. You're right. Maybe he doesn't need the daddy that you chose who's not consistent, who's an addict, who's an abuser, whatever. But he needs a positive male,
A male
role
figure.
model
He's a male.
in his life. Every boy needs a man in his life.
Yep.
And I think maybe you or Tony, someone told me that he needs it, especially as he's growing up, so he can check himself against. Like BJ
Yeah,
can look
sure.
at
Oh, yeah.
dad and be like, am I in the same place? Like, am I slacking? Am I not, where do
Sure.
I need to go
Yeah.
in this point? So when boys don't have that, and I'm going to say my son particularly, he got lost a little bit. Like he had to figure his shit out. Like he was really lost and he's got there.
But I think
And-
he's found it through baseball because there's others. So men need men.
Oh, yeah.
They
he
need
has.
the commodity.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
need that.
Yes.
Like whether they check themselves, if they have a male figure in their life, like my son had my dad, he's found it within other men with, with baseball and how they like, and I think that's a good thing because men need men.
And I don't think we realize that, like, as much as growing up, like, oh, boys are boys. Like, I didn't realize that men do need
No,
other
I realized
men.
it. Maybe you didn't realize.
I don't think I did because I was so self-absorbed with, like, raising everybody around us and doing everything. I never focused on it. And you say it all the time. I don't think I respected men, cherished men, loved men until I had my own son. And
Right.
when I had my own son, I was like,
It
oh,
became real.
because I hated men. And she was always like, sis, why are you doing this to this guy and that guy? Like I have to hear all your shit and defend you because this boy's crying and that guy's fighting that guy. Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, oh, well, I don't care. Oh, well, I don't care. Well, now fast forward, I have my own son and I'm looking at this kid like, I could really fuck you up. Like, I have to love men to love you. And so I had to forgive some people in my life. I had to forgive myself. And I've done the best that I feel I could do to make him as much of a good man I possibly can. But like she said, we can't teach our kids to be men. I couldn't teach my son how to pee. How am I going to teach him how to be a man?
But women are funny because they sit there and they'll lie to themselves and it's like, oh, I could do everything. And even the sons, they'll be like, my mom did everything. I didn't need my dad at all. Like, and then, okay, kid, let's see what decisions you make as a man. Because
Yes.
you didn't have that.
Yes.
Like, it's not your fault. Like,
Yes.
it's just not your fault. Like, but it is what it is. Like, and you, like, women, like, okay, like, yeah, I'm a woman. I raised my sons. I think I did all right. Like, I'm not going to say I did a great job because I'm not a great mom. I'm not a bad mom, but I'm definitely not a great one. You could tell the great ones, like you like your kids. I do what I need to do with my kids. You know what I mean? Like the job is done. You know what I mean? The boxes are checked.
No, the job is
But-
not done. We
Yeah,
still got
never
Gia.
done.
But I'm
we got
saying-
We're
Gia.
never
But I'm
done.
saying,
12.
I'm
Don't
not
forget about
enjoying
my.
it.
Don't forget
This
about
is not
my
what
baby
I'm
girl.
welcoming to. I'm not like, hey, let me go chill with those guys. I'm like, get the
Oh,
fuck out of
really?
here.
Really?
Hey,
That's how
sometimes you
hold
have-
on. She's lying. Really? Because I could have swore on the way here, somebody called you and
Well,
said,
BJ's my favorite, so it's
yeah,
different.
somebody called and said,
But it
Mom,
took a-
what time are you going to be
it took-
done?
it
Mom,
took
you want to go
years.
see a movie? So when they leave here, her and her
I've heard her
son
come
But it
back.
takes
are going to
years.
go see a movie.
It's definitely years with me. I'm also like I am a damaged woman. I am like I'm not a woman who had. I had my first son at 16. I was pregnant at 15. I didn't look at that kid
Yeah.
and was like, "Oh my God, I love you."
he had to earn his spot.
like
in her
yeah,
life.
like I was like, "What? I have to bring him home with me?"
Yes,
like
we talked
and I
about
had to go
that.
back to my placement and pack up my stuff, and so mad that he was still there. You know what I mean? And then even like with the other two kids, and I can't even like say it was my age because I have 3 kids, and all 3 of them I had to look at
She-
and say, "Oh, they're coming home with me." Man, I done
I
fucked
went
up
through labor
again.
with her. She's in labor with Gia, but I had to leave to go pick up Seth or something. And I knew as soon as I left, she was going to give birth. She calls me and goes,
Oh, I
you
totally-
fucking left and I gave birth to this kid and you're not even here. And I'm like, but she's yours. She's
No,
not
so this is the funny part, right? Because like I knew it, I felt it, right?
But
so
I had to leave.
I had told my sister, "No, it's cool. Go pick up your son." Like blah blah blah, right? But because she's like a helicopter, like she doesn't give nobody no space.
love
She's
my
like
babies.
all right there in my vagina, like, and then she like slaps the doctor. She's just like really too much, right? So then I remember like she was like, "Oh, you're good." I was like, "Yeah, I don't feel nothing." And then as soon as she left, I told the dad like, "Get the fucking doctor in here. I'm about to fucking have this kid."
Oh, I don't even think I was like at the school to pick up Seth and she gave birth.
But then the kid came out, right, and she looked terrible. So then I was like, oh man. And then the reality hits again, like, oh fuck, I'm stuck with another one,
Yes.
like.
But I've heard you recently in the conversations that you have, especially with BJ, like,
Well, BJ's my favorite.
friggin' awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
And that has something to do with the way that you raise. So when you say you're not a good mom, you're a
good.
great mom. I just don't think
No,
you,
I don't put
Yeah.
myself down as mom. I just know great
some
moms
of the wisdom though that you've taught
enjoy.
them in
Yeah.
life is
But the
like,
main thing is you haven't given up, you
priceless.
haven't walked away, and you are teaching your boys, like even Gia, like Gia didn't understand it the other day, and I had to sit her down and say, your mom's hard on you for a reason.
Yeah.
Like the world is crazy out there, kid.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what's going on. Like we don't want, as soft as I was, I think my sister will vouch for this. Yes, I love the world. I wanted to be friends with you, but don't mess with me, right? Like I always had that other side too, where you always knew what came with her.
Right.
I was kind of like a light switch. Like the light was on, it's all bright and beautiful, but then the second you made me mad, I was another person.
Right.
So we're trying to tell Gia, but you've always taught the boys, like when you walk in a room, know your surroundings.
Yeah.
When you walk down the street, watch who's around. Like you've taught your boys to be that strong.
I've
person.
tried to, and they are, but I definitely think that I had a dad, a role model
Yeah.
of a
Help
man
towards
Yeah.
that for
to,
sure.
yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like,
And I look
to give what I can, because men aren't supposed to talk a lot. They don't talk a lot. They don't like. They're not like. I don't want my sons are not gibberish. I don't want no man who's gibberish. When I hear a man in the room gibbering away, you're a fool. Get away from me. You've said way too much.
she's like, I have to deal with Alina all day. I ain't
Like,
trying to hear something
because
else gibber.
men speak, and when they speak, that's when they're heard. If you're a man who speaks all day long, then you have nothing to say. It's just nothing.
It's
But-
almost like when a lion walks in the room, you don't have to say I'm a
Yeah.
lion. People know you're a lion.
Yeah.
But I think that those times have gone. I think that this whole feminist act has ruined it. I think that women are so, I don't need you. I could do everything.
They
like,
think
woe
they
is me.
can.
And it's like at the end of the day, even I can pay my mortgage. I can pay my car payment, Seth's car payment. I can do all that. We're blessed with a great job. I could do all that. But there's moments of like, why do I have to constantly?
Yeah, but they say so. They say a lot of things.
They don't mean it.
Yes, they say it all the time because this is what they're supposed to want. They're supposed to want a man like this. They're supposed to want a good man. They're supposed to want, but they go out with the guy that's the total friggin' idiot, the one that's toxic for them. Though, they go out with the total opposite of what they
Because he's
know
hot.
it's supposed to be.
That's why I'm up for the toxic one. I'm up for putting
or
it down.
or he.
So wait, you put up with the toxic guy?
I didn't say I would put up with it. I just said that's what they go.
I mean,
Or
when we were
or it's
younger,
just-
but not
it's-
today.
It's just in the.
But see, that's different stages in
endorphin.
life.
Yeah, yeah.
So like you get an older woman now,
Yeah.
and you get that older woman who's with that chump. No offense, chumps. You guys are doing a great job. But they're being
So-
with this hot dog who's like right there, like giving them whatever they need.
Yeah, but
and,
what it stops the man from being a good man.
No,
so look
I
at
get it.
for instance, if I'm a good man, right, and I give you peace in your life, and and the stability, and I'm this guy, right, but yet then I'm predictable and I'm boring and I'm this and that, and so then if I'm predictable and boring, you're kind of like, he's just a good man. So you want a good man, but then you don't want a good. You want a mysterious, kind of
But does
rough,
that mean
kind
that
of rugged
she has
man too.
issues? Because that used to be me. Like when I met Thopo for the first time, I was like, and I met him and he's beating the shit out of somebody. That shouldn't turn anybody on. But for me, I was like,
Oh, there's women that
Oh.
get turned on all the time. All the time,
so
I hear
I
it.
was
I
young.
love
On a
good
daily.
Yeah,
Love a
I
good-
saw him
Almost.
and he was whooping someone's ass, and I was like, I want him. And I had already known he had wanted to go out with me, so I was like, oh, that's him. That's because in my head, he's strong, he's tough, he's badass.
All day
But
long.
today at 49. Oh no! I want
this
a
is
more
what I think-
mature
I-
man.
this-
I
this
want a
is-
still want
solid
that.
man.
This is
no,
what I think.
You still want that. You
Hold
still want a
on.
man that
This
could
is-
do that.
This is what
but
I
not. I don't want it be in our daily life.
So this is what I think is funny. Like if a woman, right, gets that chump, nothing wrong with that chump. I'm all for you guys, chump. Like, but no, for reals, because I think
I'm
like
trying to find a button for
like
her right
no,
now.
like so. But the girl, instead of being like, that's what I think it's funny. Like, right, like say, like why doesn't she be like more cool with that guy? Because now he's comforting her.
Yeah.
Now he's everything that she want. Maybe not like the badass, you know what I mean? But like he otherwise like, hey, you don't need to worry about me cheating on you. I'm going straight to work. I'm coming right back to you, bitch. I got you. You know, you need
Right,
some help.
right.
Like you have this guy, right? Like maybe not all the boxes ain't checked. And I know
Right.
Tom does not like that, but let's say but then those women still want to knock that man down. And you
Right.
got the man that you want. Yeah,
Right.
he's not this badass toxic. I don't
Because
know.
they're never satisfied.
Well,
So-
Women are never
They're
satisfied.
internal issues. They have issues that
So
they're
like
not working
I
on.
just don't get like where they are not like, all right, this guy is not like, but doesn't mean you have to like still beat him down, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that's what's wrong with women. Those men, like, right? So like we're raising our sons, right? Like so, and a lot of women are bitter. And they are bullying their sons without realizing they're
Oh,
bullying their sons.
100%.
So as they like, and we're verbal people, right? Women are
Yes.
more verbal, men are
Right.
more physical. So as you beat that boy down as a kid, like motherfucker, whatever the case is, because kids get on your nerves. I don't like any of them. So, anyways, like now that boy has learned to be verbally abused and accept that.
So
Because
when
there
he-
wasn't a man to say, hey, you're not supposed to accept that from that bitch. You need to learn to like, hey,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, but
Right.
that's your mom and you accept it. Now it's a habit. Now you have a kind of man.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then he finds another woman who's just like his mother who talks to him like that.
Do you think he'll
Right.
eventually hit her because he'll snap though?
I don't
Do you
know.
think that
about hitting
women?
her.
But I just
No,
feel like
because-
everybody.
No, but he just might be broken down, like you
Yeah,
said. And
but
just
this
to
is
that.
why I feel like women like I like Andrew Tate and all those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fucking big fans, and one of the things
Oh, and
that
women
I-
hate him, and I'm
No,
I'm
but-
kind
I like
of a
him.
fan.
So I
I
like
like
what they say is like pretty much like, hey, they're just giving the guide. I'm not saying they got all things right of how they think, but like, damn, like, so us as women, we need to do that as women. Like, hey, you know what? Look, I know it ain't easy being a single mom. I get it. You made a mistake. Some of you girls didn't know who your dad is. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the case may be, because I have seen
Get
it all.
real, yeah.
So like, but like, at what point is you women check yourself and being like, all right, let me fix this.
yeah.
Or like you said, when you had Mr. Magoo, like, okay, like, let me do this. Like,
Yeah.
and the older he got, like, all right, sis, you think you're cute? Do you want to stay cute like that? And let your son watch you that? Like,
Yeah.
like, is that what you want him to
Yeah.
see? Like, I
So
don't
yeah,
know.
well,
you know,
this
like,
weekend I went out and I posted a picture, and I had a little top on and shorts, and I never post those. But Seth and I have grown so much, and he knows I never post those, and he knows I was out with my friends for the weekend. And I was a little nervous to post it, think he was gonna like, Mom, what are you doing? And he hearted it, and then he sent me a text and said, have fun, Mom. You deserve it. Get home safe. Like, I think he looked at it like, because I don't do it all the time, because I'm not trying to
Well,
shake
it's
my
not
stage.
at a crazy out of line,
But you're
over the
also
top.
at a different stage.
Yes, but
of
I had to
your
work to
life.
that point.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I was out showing my ass every day and I'm out every weekend partying, I'm going to raise a son who's going to not trust women.
Yeah.
He's
Sure.
going to look at women like, damn, like this is my mom's
Gotta
doing
throw it
this and
out
I'm
there.
seeing it. Imagine what my wife or my
I
girlfriend's
think
going to
it's
be.
hilarious when you see like women, everything hanging out and then hugging up to their son like, man, that got to be hard on that boy. You know what I mean?
People
That's your
don't.
mom. You
People
wanna
don't
treasure her.
get that though. You know, I get more shit about staying true to myself and grounded on how I'm raising Seth, about being a little bit more reserved and conservative. And my sister will tell you, you didn't know me back then. Ask her when I was with Javier and everybody. Boobs were out, ass cheeks were out, stomach was out. And then my poor sister's like, oh my God, here we go. I was young. I didn't have a boy. I didn't really respect myself because I was so angry at life. Insert Seth. I mature. I grow up. And now I'm like, I don't need to show my tits to get some guy's attention. I don't need to shake my ass to get some guy's attention. And the only attention I want right now is my son's, and make sure he's grounded and that he's good. But so many of my friends are like, your son has to deal with it. Live your life. And I'm like,
I think
that's not.
Hell no.
My life is my son. Like, I want him to respect women. And so I ask him, like, well, you're dating this girl and her ass is out. He goes, Mom, she's 19.
Yeah.
It's okay if her ass is out. And I'm like, all right, good. Like, he sounds like if his girlfriend called him and said, I'm going out with my friends, and I have fun. Be careful. If you need me to pick you up, no problem. You know, I can pick you up. There was a girl in high school he was dating, and she's like, you don't even care that I'm going out. You didn't even like the picture. Like, and he was like, I'm not jealous. Have fun. Like, my mom's raised me to be like, do your life. Any decision you're going to make, you're going to
So
make.
she
whether
was
I'm there or
already
not.
manipulating.
And so I
She was
feel
looking to manipulate.
I
her.
feel bad for my son today and
Yep.
for my nephew, because I feel like we're raising these boys to be boys, to open the doors, to pump their gas, to do all these things. And where the girls that are
They
going
don't know how to accept it. The young girls don't know how to accept that.
No,
because the
they're-
guys don't do that anymore.
But
And
they're
just
not
like,
being taught, though, I don't feel either. A lot of girls aren't being taught how
To
to be
expect
women,
that.
how to
So that's why
be
you
a
gotta
wife,
train your
how
own-
to
yeah.
be a mother. Like the old Mexican fashion way, you have a daughter. Those mothers taught their daughters how to cook and clean. You had a son. The dad took the kid out to do whatever it is. Those days are done and gone. So we're raising these boys to treat their girls this way. But what about the girls? How are they going to treat my son? Like, how are you going to talk to my son? Like, it's going to be hard for me if some girl, like she said, is bad mouthing him or
well,
putting
that's
him
why
down.
then he's got to rise
But
to the
he-
occasion.
yeah.
And he's got to be the leader.
So-
He's got to set the tone.
Yeah.
And he's got to do it. And just, he's the man.
Yeah.
So
But
again,
here it is.
now he's a
so
dick
now
because
she
that's
needs
how
to,
he
well,
is.
too bad.
Yeah.
You know, and I agree.
Too
I
bad.
will
my-
100%
Then you
So,
know
yeah,
what?
BJ
Then
won't
guess
deal with
what?
that.
Then maybe you're not the one.
Yeah.
And move on to somebody
And guess
else.
what? It's a woman, as long as, you know, so there's a way, like some guys, they're all machismo and I got to, you know, and I'm waiting to be, you know, serve me and do this. And they're lame ass guys. They don't even like do yard work. They
Yeah.
don't even take out the trash. Their wife's taking the trash out.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law used to say, hey man, I got some side work you want to make? I'll give you $500. You make some cash. Oh no, you don't want to get dirty, you know? And
I think a dirty man is a sexy man. Like
Well,
my sister, like what
but-
she does and goes and shovels coal, like to me, like I look at her like I did our little lashing jobs way back then when the ships were only 10 high across, right? The ships were smaller. I did all the little swing jobs. But to hear my sister, what she does a man's job. Like for me, when I see a dirty man who's working, when I see my sister come to my house and she has crap all over her face, I'm like, damn, like that's real work. That's like, that's,
Yeah.
I
what I'm
love
saying,
that.
so what I'm trying to say though, towards that is, before I get off on this, and,
Yeah.
and I won't come back. Sorry.
Go.
When you have them kind of guys that are acting like assholes like that, then there's these other women that see that and they're making a bad name for us. They're making a bad, like, I don't want to treat my woman like that. I don't expect her to hand and feet and take my boots off. Some of the old school guys, they
Yeah.
take my boots off, wait a minute, like, babe, you don't need to make me dinner
You pay my
tonight.
mortgage. I'll
can
take
make
your
a-
boots off.
So there, no,
Pay my
there's-
mortgage.
So that's
You're
funny
not letting me
because-
finish.
Yeah, no. So that's funny. What you said, like, because I think there's men and then there's better men. So like a better man is not going to be
so
like that.
for instance with me, like again, it goes back to how do you want to be treated. So when I was first married, when I would come home every day I'd get home an hour earlier than my wife, and I would make the bed. I would pull out dinner. I maybe run the vacuum. I would do shit like that because I thought I would change my kid's diaper. I wasn't macho to all that stuff. So I don't think that if you treat her like a lady, you know what, then she's going to want to do those things. She's going to take care of you. She's going to wash your clothes. She's going to do this, but not you expect it and being this friggin' macho asshole all the friggin' time.
But then what happened,
right?
Tom?
But also what ended up happening, definitely what happened. And it goes back to not appreciating it and taking things for granted. And when I did that, one day, and I was doing 2 jobs. I did 2 jobs forever. I never have not done 2 jobs. And I came home and I was home an hour early and I thought, like, I just want to lay down for 30 minutes, but I'll get up and I'll do something before she gets there. She got home and I was knocked the heck out. And she said, you could at least did this and could at least did that. Later on, also, this is the other thing she did. Later on, my sons would be around. I say, hey, look, before your mom gets home, look, you go take out the trash. You start sweeping up. You put all the dishes away. You take the laundry and put it away. And I'll start taking out dinner or something, right?
Yeah.
So together we're a team. We just all put. And so we would get the house pretty cleaned up, right? At that, like, got an hour. And there's
Damn,
5 of us.
God, didn't we? We didn't never see that shit.
But again, look what happened though. So we did it, but we didn't do 100%. There was 10% left behind. And instead of when she got there, she pointed out the 10%. So my kids would come to me and say, Dad, let's not do it at all. She's going to complain no matter what. And so when these men are trying to be a good man, I was trying to be a good man. I was trying to be a good husband. I wanted to do those things. Don't expect me to do those things. Be grateful that, hey, he worked his ass off. He does 2 jobs. And on top of his 2 jobs, he's doing this to help me.
It sounds like you had a good mom, though, because you have so much love and respect for women because of your mom. And maybe I'm wrong, but usually men aren't like you.
Well, I had a
definitely
great
different.
mom.
He's
I had
definitely
a
different.
good mom too, but my mom was,
Not perfect,
divorce and
but
all
she had
that.
a-
I don't
she
know
had to be
necessarily it
good.
had anything to do with my mom. It just had to do with the man I wanted to be and how I wanted to be treated. And
But
what
my
I thought,
thing is, you
but
wouldn't
I
have that
also,
respect if you didn't have respect for your mom.
well, it really came from my aunt and my uncle that I saw this relationship
Yeah.
that was working. My mom's and dad didn't.
Okay.
So that wasn't my role model, right?
No, I'm
Right?
saying you don't have mommy issues where you need to treat women like shit.
No,
or you
let
think
him
women
No.
are shit.
go, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Go,
going to
Tom.
keep on doing this
Go,
and then we're going to be stopping with
Tom.
it, But so, yeah, I had them as a role model to look at, the way he treated her, the respect he had, but then vice versa. And then she wanted to do for him. And I think we've talked about this old school. I think that, hey, if my girl's over there making me some dinner right now and I notice her tire's low in her car and it's late at night and I know she's going to get up early to fuel up the tank, I don't want her out and be early in the morning and be, subjected to being, in a bad situation. I'm going to take the dang car. I'm going to fill up the tire. I'm going to fill up gas so she can go straight to work. And I'm going to make sure she has the better car out of the 2. If I break down, I could break down.
Yeah.
Right. If we only got one new car, she's driving the new car, right? But, and if you're treating them like that, then it's like, hey, like she's already loving me over here. She's already doing this. And then like vice versa, I'm going to love her back and do these other things, But I think that just like,
But that's like, you are so rare because that doesn't exist.
but okay, even with me being rare,
I have not heard Solomon.
Solomon, I know you have been quiet. Where you been?
Yeah.
I've been listening to him talk.
and I haven't really been talking. I don't know if you noticed in this old podcast, you've been talking. I tried a couple times, but so now we're trying to chime in here. But even with the fact of me being rare, it's still not appreciated and it's still not really even valued. I feel like that. I sometimes I talk to Angel. I was like, what is my worth? Where's my value? Like, and because, well, Tom, you need to know that you have the value in yourself, right? You need to know that.
It drives me crazy about Tom.
Which I do, but you know what? I don't do it just for myself. This ain't all about Tom all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so, and a man won't stop. This is, so a man won't stop. Like, for instance, I will keep on working. I will work 6 days, take 1 day off, work on the house, right? And until my wife or my girlfriend says, okay, I see what you're doing and I appreciate you and you need to stop, right? Until you're finding, it's like, we're simple. We're like a friggin' like a puppy dog, like a dog. I'm guarding the house, and I come in and I come up and then, oh, come here, puppy. Oh, you're such a good dog, and rub your belly, and you've been protecting the house.
See, they do need to be rubbed and fed and walked.
So then the dog goes, hey, I did a good job.
Yeah.
As long as I'm acknowledged and I know, so what I'm doing, you like? You have to let them know you like it. If you just let the guy keep on going and keep on going, he's just going to keep on going. But you have to acknowledge him. When you say, well, you don't need to be acknowledged, you could just acknowledge yourself. No, you need to be acknowledged that this is working for them and they like what you're doing. So and then you're like, hey, all right, now when they acknowledge it, you have another boost of energy. If she says, go through that wall, I'm like, boom, I'm going through the wall.
But see,
whatever she needs.
You are a very strong man, mentally, physically, emotionally. And what I mean by that is you don't need to walk into a room and roar. People know who you are by your presence, right? The men that you were saying earlier who are like machismo and do this and treat their girls like this.
They're fake.
I know a lot of them. You wouldn't talk to Tom like that.
Right.
You wouldn't go treat Tom like that, but you're going to treat your wife like that because you know you can.
Right.
And for me, when I tell people I want a man stronger than me, I don't mean physically or anything. I mean, I want a man who's going to put me in my place, not like abuse me or talk crap to me, but hey, I'm the man. This is our house, but let me figure out all this shit.
Yeah, but women are rare like that. I mean, look.
That's rare too.
Tom's back on the dating field. And like.
I had a friend that asked about you on Facebook.
Okay, so like Tom's on the dating field and like, look at the women Tom is coming across.
Younger women too, right?
But they don't even see Tom's like worth, like because. And Tom sees, dang, is this what women are? Like, and I try to tell him.
So it's new to me. She was saying the other day, with the conversation, I think we were talking before the podcast, but like in these deep conversations, I'm like, wow. She's like, Tom, you're like a pup. This is like new to you. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Because I had been in this relationship for 26 and a half years, so I was in this box and, my wife wasn't with a bunch of different men. So it was me, woman. And so now I'm going out with these women that are, 40s, whatever. And it's like, wow. Every single one of them.
We're talking shit. Damn, man.
Well, every single one of them.
Your little 30, 20-year-old girls in. Let me know how that works out.
Even them. Even the 30-year-old. Every single one of them has got whatever traumas and stuff that went on their life and trigger points. So like I might even really do nothing, but because her ex did this one thing that she didn't like, and now I just did it, she's like, so there's just things the way that they protect their whole life and they're brought up, they were damaged in this way or hurt in this way. They're going to make sure that their kids do not get hurt at all costs that way, right? So they just build their lives around the traumas and the things that's happening to them. And you're like, now you're going through this obstacle course, right? Trying to figure this woman out. Like, oh, okay, well, don't go there and go. But it's like, man, like.
You can't just be a man. You can't just pick her up, open the door, take her to dinner.
And the problem that I noticed like the other day is everybody is so fragile. So if you tell somebody real, if I get real on you and say, hey, well, you know what? I don't really appreciate this, or I don't like this in a relationship, or this is what works for me. This doesn't work for me, or you know what? Like they are so damaged by that, instead of just saying, hey, you know what? We'll explain that a little bit to me. Well, why are you like that? Or why do you think like that? And vice versa. If maybe you can explain to me, or I tell you what I don't like, and you say, well, it's because I do this because of X, Y, and Z.
I think it's kind of like human nature, though, because men see me coming and they're like, oh, yep, we're not fucking with that one.
Well, then, but I think if you communicate, you can both learn something from each other, what you got to say. Like, even if you're not going to be with that person forever, even in a relationship, whether it's a friend and a friend, sometimes you got to learn how to communicate and hear the person and say, okay, well, then educate me. Tell me why is it like that? And then once you hear that other side, because what we're doing is making a decision before we have all the facts.
Yeah.
So I don't like this. This is my decision. Boom. Well, wait a minute. I didn't hear the whole other side.
Because people are like, I don't have time for that.
Now when you hear the other side, that makes sense. Now I can see it. Well, then sometimes we need to, hey,
But do you think it's a whole society, everybody's so damn sensitive today that you can't say anything or do anything and everybody's feelings are hurt?
Fucking they're a bunch of like pussies out there.
I
straight out.
I
like
agree.
If you offend somebody, like Like, get over it. Like, so my mom said some stuff to me, you know, she's just like, Tom, you're so aggressive and you just come at it and sometimes you just wear me down. Like, right? And I was like, oh, mom, like, well, sometimes, you know, well, you're my mom. I could dump everything. It's my mom. Like, I'm dump. But I know it wears her down because I'm kind of hard to shit, right? So, but what I had to do was I had to say,
I did with you.
the truth. I had to basically say, even if it's constructive criticism, and I might not like it all, but if it's the truth, I would be stupid to argue with it.
Well, at least she talked.
Because she talked. But then well, you know what? I came back to my mom, and mom thought I was all mad. And I said, Mom, you know what? You're right, Mom. You're right. I do this and this and that. I said, okay, but let me ask you a question, Mom. If you needed somebody in your corner and you say I'm aggressive and I'm this and I'm just, okay, and you needed one person to be in that corner with you, now who are you going to pick?
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking my son.
But see,
this guy don't quit. He don't stop, right?
Is that
so
you're
it depends
open to hearing it. People are not open to hearing. Nobody wants to hear it. Men don't want to hear women. Women don't want to hear men. You have to like. Alina's the same way.
For me,
She
I love
sucks.
it. That's why we have these
No,
conversations.
I know, but
you
Alina
educate me
sucks.
all the time on
Anytime
shit.
I try to get real with Alina, she'd be like, "Oh my god, so much energy. You're so negative. Oh my god." But she would. That was it. That's
But
it.
I
And then,
listen.
like, you know,
I have
and
to
then
listen.
no, she didn't.
You have your opinion, and you're just
Yeah,
to your opinion
Angel
sometimes.
is fucking wrong,
and
like
yes.
she's fucking crazy, and oh my god,
I've been working on it. You know why? This is what she forgets. When my sister calls today, when my sister calls, it's because she actually wants to have a conversation about whatever. PTSD here. 10 years ago, the cops, the this, hide this, take this. So every time she calls, I'm waiting for the ball to drop. I'm waiting for something to come. So I'm like,
so what's wrong with
please, please tell me you didn't just beat some girl up and the cops are coming. Like in my head, I have all these things.
It worse.
Girl, there's only so much I can take.
But why do you have to be negative about it? You have to be negative about it. It's terrible.
I'm always like, okay, like I said in one of my other podcasts, today when my phone rings, I know my sister's calling me, we're gonna laugh, but somewhere in the back of the head, I'm like today on the phone, she's like, oh, this bitch. I was like, oh my God, please don't fight her. Whoever you're yelling at the other line, please don't oh my God. She's like, rah, 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 and hangs up. And I'm like, she's gonna call me back and be like, oh, I beat this girl. But I'm like, so for me, I'm like, sis, breathe, sis, be happy, sis, be positive.
No, you're not.
And she's like, fuck all that shit.
She's lying your ass off.
I am not.
What?
I don't tell you.
When I go off, or say what's going on with me, you just took it wrong. It wasn't even like that. Even the other day,
I try to be
with
positive.
the nurse that came to my grandma, like you're like, oh, you could be. I don't like her. I go by vibe.
She met her for a minute.
I don't care. I pick up everything by vibe. If I feel like you, like
Right
that's
away.
it.
Right
I don't
away.
care. Sorry, size
have
you
a
up.
feeling.
30 seconds. I size you up 30 seconds is what you were.
The girl said
if you
hi to
prove
her.
me wrong different later on, hey, my bad. But for the first 30 seconds, I done already put you in a category. Oh, well, it's worked for me for 46 fucking years. I've done all right.
You know what? Everything
You're
that we
46.
do, everything we're graded on. I was sharing that with somebody, and they're like, "What do you mean? Why? What do you mean we're graded on?"
It's a
every
human
movement
fucking-
you make, every action you make. Somebody else is watching the way you treated that other person, and you're graded on it, whether you know it or not. If I go
That's
out there
me
and
when I'm dating somebody.
yeah,
Yes,
if I'm out there
100%.
and I'm being an asshole to the waitress,
Oh,
right?
100%.
Right, that girl is seeing that, and
Yep.
you're being graded, whether
Yep.
you want to say you're not being graded.
Oh, you are.
So everything that you do, if you
100%.
just ignore somebody, or you just give them a cheap tip, or you just were rude to, whatever, everything you do, you don't get the door for the girl you're dating, and you treat her like a lady, like everything is graded.
I think you're right, because if I go on a date and I like this guy and he seems pretty mellow, how you treat the waitress shows me how you treat people. Now waitresses are not.
Just
You're
an
not. I'm saying if you get a
example,
good waitress, if you get. Now I'm not talking about the dumb ones.
Right.
There's always a bad waitress, a bad whatever, and everything. If you got a good waitress and she's busy but she's trying her best, Like chill, it's not a big deal. Let's just. But if you're being rude to her, to me. Then you're going to be
showing
rude.
your character.
Yes, 100%.
I don't know. Like to me,
100%.
waitresses, like I let my kids call it. So like if a waitress is like not, I let them call it. They're like, oh no, she ain't getting tip. I was like, nope, she sure ain't.
But I'm just using the waitress as an example on how you treat, whether it could be anybody if you're out
Women
in public,
are
and how you're treating
constantly
people
judging
and and they're
Yes.
judging. They're sizing you up every move
Yes.
you make. You're getting a grade.
And believe it or not, women
judge people.
If you were flirting with the freaking waitress now, right? That
Well,
you'd be
you
getting
know-
graded on that too.
More men are dogs. You guys got those 30
Yeah, men lie a lot. Men look at women,
Women lie all the time.
Yes, we do.
I don't lie anymore.
That's why
I don't
Jerry
lie.
and Maury's so important. Like
Jerry
nobody knows
who?
And women
Jerry-
are so naive.
Jerry Moore.
Who's the dad?
Who's
right?
your dad?
Who's your dad? Oh my God, I didn't know.
They like to play the women like to play naive. Oh, I didn't even know he was trying to come on to me. He was trying to hit on me. He was trying to this and that. Every
Solomon, are
woman-
you laughing back
every-
there? It's time to shut it down. And I know
See,
you
You
haven't
guys
said-
didn't even need me for this one.
I-
What is your wait? Hold on, before we end.
Yeah, it's all
Okay.
What is your opinion? Are we ruining men? Are we scaring them away?
Get
Are we
back to the
changing them?
reality.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so keep in mind, like everything has a course of evolution, right? If men are changing, it's because society is changing, and men are changing along with it, and so are women. So you're right. There's more single women raising children, and for the most part, when women talk, it's a point of pride to say, I don't need a man. There's pain in that sentence. We know that. And so, they're saying that whether they know they can do it or not, whether they believe it or not, it doesn't really matter. So we need to be able to look beyond that and say, well, you're right. There does need to be a man in the picture to, to help give these kids some air of masculinity. So they understand how to treat women, how to lead, how to,
So good.
be in their maleness, right? And so one of the questions I was going to ask you ladies is, as single women, were there things that you did on purpose to expose your sons to men in a way, since you didn't have that man in the house? And then other things too. We talk about some of Tom's experiences, especially with regard to women. And Tom, your story sounds similar to me in that, as men, we expect women to think like us. We expect women to think, if we show you these things, you will appreciate them. And women don't think like that. And that's the thing. That's the thing. And it's a hard lesson. And sometimes you find it out 10 years later, 15 years later. And this happens to a lot of men. And you're sitting there going, well, damn, I did this, and this, and this. Every day I did this for you, and you're going to come at me with that? And it's like we expect women to say, well, yeah, he pissed me off here, but you know what? He's a good guy overall. He's done these things for me. I should give him a break. But women don't think like that. Women think more along the lines of, what did you do yesterday? What did you do today? How do I feel? And then on top of that, then you have the individual personalities of individual people. And Tom, I think that's more what you had to deal with in the person you were with, in that person also had what I call a selfish personality. And it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means when something happens, the first thing they think is, how does this impact me? And then they'll think, how does this impact everybody else? Other people are different. People have a strong sense of empathy. They see something and go, oh my God, is that person hurt? Rather than thinking about themselves first. So I think really that, society, it's just changing. And I think everybody's sort of trying to find new roles now. It's very easy to compare it to what we knew, which was a simple thing. Like I still open car doors and do all that stuff too. But men just don't do it anymore. And the funny thing is women don't expect it anymore. And so, it's going to be interesting to see what the new roles are, as we get older and as these younger people who are coming up on their phones and all this other stuff, what are they going to expect from men? We haven't even talked about gay and lesbian and people, of same-sex couples, how that impacts society as well. But that's just a real part of it. So I don't think it's women ruining men. I think it's just society changing, and I think we just have to wait and see what happens.
Damn.
Dang.
Very good. Very good. Well
Solomon.
said, Solomon.
Why did you interrupt us along the way?
Like, look, you bitches got it all wrong.
Because it's your show. It's your show.
Like, you guys shut up for a second and let me say something. Poor Tom, I feel like we're
Wait,
like,
you didn't answer this question though. Solomon, I had a question for you. You as a single woman raising a son, what did you do different? What did you do to, what did you say?
To expose him to
Like he remembers.
male influence.
When Marcus stepped back, Seth was already in baseball and he loved it so much. I threw myself, because my sister said, into baseball. So we did travel baseball every summer, every tournament, every something, because he was constantly around boys, and he was blessed with these amazing coaches who I'm forever indebted to. I paid every penny for baseball and asked my sister, she'd be like, here you go again. Like, we were gone. And for me, I knew the only men he was going to get in his life were sports. So here we go. And I threw myself into it. I sacrificed my personal life, my love life. I sacrificed, oh, mom needs new chonies. Well, I can't buy them this week because Seth needs a new glove. You know what I mean? I just,
Well, damn, chonies. I gotta get rid of the chonies.
I'm just saying, for me, that's what I did. I just was like, okay, this is what you're gonna do. Then here we go. Let's do it. And it really, really helped. There's 2 of them till this day that call, check in on my son. Seth stays in contact with them, and they're amazing men. And I'm forever grateful for that. But you had dad, and not that I didn't have him, because he would have been more involved. But that's a whole other topic. I sheltered my kids maybe a little bit too much.
Okay, for me to answer that question, I really can't. My son's dad died when my son was 2, and I found him, so I was done, and my dad took over my kids, the boys. He did. He stepped in. I told my oldest son. In a newspaper, I gave him the clipping and I said, now you're the man of the house. And I fell apart.
That's something that we're going to have to talk about for sure. We have to have a whole podcast on that, because having to find your father of your children there, lying there, that's an effect in its own. And now you got to leave and go look at these 2 boys. So your whole life is turned upside down. But I think you've done a great job. I think dad stepped in when he was supposed to.
Oh, that was great.
It was all that. You know what I mean? Like,
so they definitely had the male. That never went.
Yeah.
That
And
never
that is
went absent.
that is a step you took, though. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, like
that is
yes,
a step that
yeah,
you took
yes.
to get a man in
Yeah,
your,
there was
your
my
son's
dad
lives.
stepped up.
So
He
take,
knew. He
take
was
credit
like,
for that. Take
he was
credit.
like-
for
Yeah,
that.
well, and I tell her that
Yeah.
all the time. She doesn't, but I
No,
do.
like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, he did it. He did it. Like, I don't know what I was doing. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I don't know what I was doing. But my dad definitely was like, all right, this is bring them boys to me.
Yeah.
Like, you're not well.
Yeah.
And
And rightfully so, right?
And so
Yeah.
like cool, like, and so that
Yeah.
I didn't really like. It kind of just.
Oh, and you're coming back for
made
that whole
itself.
topic. We're talking about that. We're going to break that all down. But, but again, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Tom, I feel like we just attacked you, but you know what? You knew the game when you agreed upon it.
That's
So
right.
you were like, I'm down. You will definitely be back for sure. Thank you, Solomon.
Speak sooner, Solomon. Speak sooner.
Yeah, Solomon, you need to jump in. Like, people don't even want to hear me half the time. They're
Yeah.
like, shut up. Let Solomon
It's
talk.
okay. As long as I get to say something, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's
All right. Well,
good.
thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And until next week, bye.
Bye. She's retarded.